moment propaganda got onto the table, everyone just gravitated towards it. And it was a theme that everyone could really sink their teeth into, but also understand how they could present it in different ways, which got me really excited from the very beginning.
You know, we set out to put together a product that our guys would love performing, first and foremost, that the audience would love being a part of. And I think that we've hit the mark there. I think that they're going to feed off of one another and the energy. There's a lot of effect in this show. We were very careful to craft this to be a vehicle that is a journey, an emotional journey, that the guys will really be able to immerse themselves in and commit to.
Our goal with the show was basically to just display how many different forms of propaganda that we encounter on a daily basis, and honestly how saturated our lives have become.
There's good propaganda, there's perceived bad propaganda, there's propaganda that affects people in a certain way. We try to show all sides of it, from abstract to concrete. We show how it affects the human being.
We're not necessarily out to declare whether propaganda in itself is good or bad. We kind of want to put it out there for you to make that decision.
Everybody doing it, jumping for joy. Boy, I'm enjoying.
We took these 7 propaganda techniques and narrowed them down into about 3 total ideas in how we wanted to present the program. Our beginning of our show, our intro, is kind of a look back as to how it all started, you know, with the speeches that we're kind of utilizing throughout these bullhorns that we have all over the field. We decided if we use these famous quotes that we could kind of get you into that realm of how this propaganda kind of is induced upon us.
Sometimes you design a show where the drill becomes very literal, and sometimes you don't. This show has aspects of that. Certainly in Get in Line, we have a lot of opportunities for a drill effect to be the obvious, the Get in Line, and there's a lot of great things with that. But, you know, it's not so specific. It's not one of those shows where we're doing a ton of graphic things that relate to the drill. It's more about the feel of the staging. It's more about the varieties that we're trying to create through time. It's more about how we want to coordinate with our props. We have, you know, our great props that are going to transform and evolve throughout the season to show different methods of propaganda as well.
We knew that we needed some type of visual to be able to connect the show propaganda and the ideas that kind of go along with propaganda visually on the field. So we wanted to kind of go a little bit old school, and we took a little bit of a newspaper look, headlines, etc. And we put those on the props to start out with, giving us more of a blank slate kind of to start with.
Another exciting thing that we're trying to do is sell ad space in our own show. You know, we're trying to think like when our props become deconstructed, it would be really cool if we were able to utilize that media as well to bring our show to life.
We're definitely taking steps this year to provide the performers with some outside ideas that are not traditional, you know, not flags, rifles, and sabers. We get to see a lot more of the individual performer utilizing their own voice, their own delivery to kind of push the agenda, if you will.
So we opened the show with Henrie Purcell's funeral music for Queen Mary, and we put a slightly dystopian spin on it. From there we transition into Morton Gould's West Point Symphony, which is very militaristic and driving and shows us that kind of aspect of propaganda. The third production, the ballad of the show, is a track from the movie Atonement called Elegy for Dunkirk, written by Dario Marinelli, who's just a top-tier film composer from Hollywood, and it's sure not to disappoint. And then we round out the end of the show with John Adams' Lollapalooza.
We're creating some textures you've not heard before. You've not heard a Donald Trump speech over a rap in the bullhorns with timpani. That is a new texture. We're looking for new ways to mash up and amalgamate things to create new sounds, to try and be state-of-the-art and modern and very fashion-forward with those things. We've got wireless mics on a lot of the props. We've got wireless mics on bullhorns. We've got active speakers that are actually embedded in props so that we can send the sound around the field at certain times.
This season has been about this renewed energy that is constant throughout, and one that I think is really palpable. You can actually feel the energy in the room when you go to every single person on the board or administration or staff. We know that we're on the right track, but we know we can't let up in any one of those areas.
I really think that the opening statement of the show is going to have people kind of say, whoa, Cavaliers mean business this year.